In this quick demo, I would like to show you how we can use the sketch engine in Fusion 360 and create the floor plan so we can then use the solid modeling tools to create the wall system. So this is a rough dimensioning I have. You see here are my outer walls, and I positioned some of my inner walls. So let me show you what a good process is to finish this one. First, let's take a look at how I actually used the constraints. For example, all the corners, you see they're all 90-degree perpendicular constraint, and I have one wall that is actually, or one side line that is horizontally constrained. Horizontally because this is the way how it's drawn. I just rotated it so it fits the screen better. And my interior walls, you see, currently are disconnected. So what we can easily do is these points I drag onto the line till I do not see this dot anymore, and I will see actually those coincident constraints. Let's do the same here and there. And these two walls should always be kind of like parallel to each other. So I will select the horizontal vertical constraint and say these two. Oh, I had a different point selected, so make sure nothing is selected. This point and this point, they are aligned. For example, the same here, there, and then I can drag this and drag this to there, and maybe drag this one down and drag this one down. So since this should maybe be a nice walkway, maybe we want actually this opening to be, oh, what did I do? I had another point selected. I want this point and this point to be at the same height, and the same there and there. So the nice thing is now, because they are all linked, you see I can actually work on one side and the other side updates. Perfect. Okay, so let's think about dimensionings. It might make sense first to define the outer dimension. So this is all done, perfect. And then we can go ahead and say this wall and this wall should be 8 inches, 8 inches. This is 10, so 8 there. And for example here, what is this? This is also 8. We can do the same there if we want. Or what we can simply do is say this point and this point be aligned. Okay, and this point and this point be aligned. So now I do not have to dimension actually this the distance, because the horizontal constraints take care of it. But maybe I have too many constraints there, so I remove one set and just add this one to it. Perfect. So let's say we want to play or adjust things a little bit. I could also say this is, let's say, my master, so U should be U. And then double click in this, double click in this. Oh, just one, enter, double click, and this one, enter, double click, and this one, enter. So the main reason for that is now if just in theory we adjust this to 10, you see all the other sides adjust. So pretty nice. Good. So let's take a look at the interior walls. So what we can do here is also dimension, 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 and then also here and there. Okay, so for example, there we do the same. Let's link those. And the interior we make 6. Perfect. And we could, for example, say this line and this line, or this point and this point. What's this distance? This point and this point, what is that distance? And there, that distance. We can only do a driven because we already specified this and the wall thickness, so we can't add a driving dimension, just only a driven one. Okay, perfect. Good. But because we might not know actually all the furniture dimensions, so those dimensions I remove, so I can actually freely later, for example, move these walls forward and backwards. And because they are all glued via the coincident constraints onto this wall, I can just slide these points. And because up here I have the horizontal constraint, this wall follows it. So pretty nice. Okay, good. So this is the basic layout for the exterior and maybe interior walls. So how do we do actually everything in regards of creating the architecture? In here I will go ahead and I will just draw one more line and one here, and you will see in a moment why I did this. Okay, perfect. So, little demo. Because I drew actually the exterior and interior walls as separate parts, technically speaking they also are. If you go back to the Katoi website, you can see that a lot of the interior walls are just, well, not masonry, they were just newly constructed. I can just draw everything the way I was built and then extrude this one up to a certain degree as needed. I didn't specify a certain height, because I'm going to undo this step in a second. So you see now we have basically the exterior walls and the entrance. But the problem with the entrance is, well, there is nothing up here. So what can I do to fix this? I could either create a new sketch, for example, right on this face, then draw on this face a line that is horizontal. There, why does Fusion draw it up there? I have really no idea. Okay, maybe. Must be a bug. There it is. Okay, thank you. Let's drag this one over. Perfect. These accidents we can delete. Perfect. So with this one line, now we see there's a profile, and this profile we can, for example, extrude out, and then where it intersects, we join. No, so works. In real life, when we built the masonry, we actually have a dummy for the door, and then kind of like think about a wooden board or something that's below, and then we can continue putting the stones on top, and later we take everything out and put the real door into it. So that's one way how you can actually do it. A different way would be maybe by using the box. Also again, we can go to that part, draw actually the box, extrude it out, and just join it. Then instead of a sketch and an extrusion, it just has a box feature. So you see, one feature less works actually pretty good as well. So let me show you an alternative way how we can actually do this. So I will go ahead and put this in and this in. Okay, good. Double click on this feature, and then I will add this part there. Great. So now I have a big wall, and I will show this one and then do an extrusion here as well. Move this one up, please, as a new body, so I can actually use this later as a separate object. Let's say 3 meters. Oh, this is 3 meters. Okay, good. So let's do the same here. So it will be the same 3 meters, kind of like a guest height. So how do I actually now approach this? Well, we can do this in a similar way also how you create a window in SketchUp. Well, we draw simply on this face the position of the window and the door. So we can go sketch on actually the particular face you would like to work on. For example, now here we can create somewhere a drawing that represents the window. And then maybe here we create something that represents the door. I just have to get close to the edge there. Perfect. There I have a midpoint constraint, which I do not want. This one has to get closer. In such a situation, it's really useful when actually we hide everything else. So when we drag, we don't by accident make links. And now you can go ahead and say, well, how high, how wide, how tall, for example, is this window opening? How wide is it? How far is the window and the door apart? How far is the door left side from the left wall away? How high is actually the opening of the window? And how far is this one away from the right wall? There, perfect. See, quick dimensioning, and then we can always adjust everything afterwards. And now to do the openings, we simply extrude those to the other direction, like in SketchUp, and punch simply through. There, perfect. So the nice thing about this approach is, maybe this I call kitchen wall. Can let it go ahead into edit mode, and let's say, well, this should be 40. Stop sketch, and everything is updated. Nice. Okay, so I hope that this gives you a good idea about how to work with interior exterior walls, and then also create openings for the doors and windows. So there's maybe one thing left in our model we might actually have to do. So where's the floor plan? There. So everything will sit on something. So there are two ways how we can do this. We could go, for example, to patch and just this huge rectangle we just fill, or we give it a small slab to sit on, so we can go extrude, select everything, and maybe just extrude, I don't know, let's say -8 inches, kind of like a slab of cast concrete down, so that something just sits on it. Okay, that's it for the walls.